Hello, and today we are doing an FPL review for game week number 23. That's right, people, the longest game week of all time. We thought game week 21 was long with that West Ham Norwich game, so long after the game after that. I think it was Southampton Brentford was also there as well. It was just crazy, the gap. But we even had a longer one, right? West Ham, they had another game, obviously this game week against Manchester United. But we didn't play David De Gea because he only had one fixture, right? A team that did have two fixtures was Watford and Burnley. Burnley scored no goals in both games, and I can tell you that Watford did just the same. So, very underwhelming game week 23 for sure. That was my game week 22 team. Very, very nice De Gea. Very, very nice 23-pointer from Bruno. But this game week, we thought we would do something interesting. And by interesting, I mean a late transfer. We didn't actually talk about what our transfer was in my 23 preview, so let me tell you it now. Right, what my thinking was I was really happy with my squad, so I didn't want to make too much changes. And I didn't want to take a hit because my squad was in a good place right now. So, what did I do? I thought, let's make some transfers for the long term. As FPL Pod should say, the long view. So, what we did was we got rid of some dead wood, right? Some fodder that we don't want because we know that defensively, you cannot trust them. Even under the new management of Frank Lampard, that is Michael Keane. Absolute disgrace of a footballer who just messed my team up this game week. And I was like, nah, I can't be having any more of you, Michael. So what did we think? Well, good fixtures coming up. Aston Villa. It's a no-brainer. Some people saying it wasn't worth it, that Matt Targett would get rotated with him. And, you know, fair enough. Not great against Manchester United. Booked not any clean sheet. Not great at all. And then, yeah, I just thought, let's go against the crowd. Let's get in Luca Dean for the fixture against Everton. But I'm not willing to play him because new manager bounce with Duncan Ferguson. And ultimately, Calvert-Lewin is likely to score in that game because, you know, he's going to get back onto form at some point. And what happens? Everton don't score. Villa keep a clean sheet for once. And Digne, though he is a fantastic option going forward, and I'm happy to own him, he of course got a cheeky assist. So, 12 points that I will never get back. But the 6 points from David De Gea, I don't really mind about. Because guess what, people? Benny Boy Foster, the cycling GK, has finally got the clean sheet. You love to see it. So, game week 23, we got ourselves 40 points. Very, very solid stuff indeed. And yeah, Luca Dean, I'm happy to have him going forward. I went ahead of the curve. I brought him in. He looks a fantastic option. Now, I might have more value in him because he's been bought earlier, but also, I also now know that I don't have to make a transfer this week, right? I could even roll a transfer and I have two for that big double game week 25 coming up. There's even a bigger game week in game week 26 of doubles coming up. So let me tell you some of the FPL fixtures to look out for. Game week 24, which is the next game week, which we will be doing a preview of game week 24, and that will be coming out on Tuesday. So I'm just going to do a review tonight. I just don't feel like it's worth doing that because I honestly need to give more time and thought into my FPL team, and a bit of long-term planning needs to get done before I can talk about a 24 team. Honestly, I know a lot of people are doing a wildcard this week. Fair enough, right? Because you might have looked at it kind of in the lead up to this Burnley-Watford game. I just wanted a break from FPL, so I took my mind off FPL, and now obviously the game week 24 is fast approaching, so I don't really know if I've got the time to think out a whole wildcard team. Does my team need a wildcard? Not really. I think it's a luxury to say I should wildcard. However, there are some players that are, you know, interesting, like your likes of Bukayo Saka and Antonio Rudiger and Jota that we might want to move on. But there's no fixed answer. That's the thing with FPL. So I've got to kind of look ahead, plan ahead with the doubles and the blanks. Because in blanks, in terms of that, game week 24, Chelsea blank because of the Club World Cup, and Brighton also blank because they were due to play Chelsea in this game week. But instead, they played Chelsea a few game weeks prior to this. Then in game week 25, we've got doubles for Brighton and Manchester United. Brighton play their games against Manchester United and Watford. We've also got 2 games for Manchester United against Brighton and Southampton. So those people getting frustrated with CR7, just hold on for a little bit longer because he could come good in that game week. And also, we've got in 26, 8 teams doubling, including Leeds, Watford, Arsenal. And that's interesting, the Arsenal double, because in 27, they then blank, as well as the likes of Liverpool and Leicester. And then in 28, we still don't know. So there are a lot of fixture rearrangements going on, a lot of games getting put in for double game weeks. So that is why I'm going to give a bit more thinking into the Game Week 24 team. But the Game Week 23 team, as I mentioned, Digne came in for Michael Keane. I'm just happy to own him, right? It's a great show of his attacking qualities, and I'd rather have the players that are good going forward. Obviously, it's of course you'd rather choose him, but I was never realistically going to do it because, like Trent, you're always going to play him. I knew that Rudiger had a good chance of something against Tottenham. He did just that. Cancelo, you're never going to drop him. Saka against Burnley, you had to back the fixture. Jota has been in good form, and especially without Mane and Salah at AFCON, you felt he was going to take the reins, and he actually was one of the highest scoring, high-owned players this game week with that assist he got. Controversially, the foul from Guaita, but we take FPL points we can get at this point because this game week was a barren one. A game week average of 35, so we did beat that by 5. We'll take that. Fernandes 3-pointer, very, very, very frustrating. What can you do? And now he seems flags ahead of game week 24, but the yellow flags never seem to last, so I'm not worried at this point. I might even roll a transfer, but we will keep an eye on the news on Bruno. Bowen, of course, had a fixture against Manchester United, but based on the form he's been in, I just simply could not drop him. So, yeah, United's defence hasn't been amazing, and I felt it was necessary to start him. And I wasn't going to also bench Antonio because, as much as I can say with hindsight, I should have benched Antonio and played Dean. The 3-4-3 is a much more popular formation, 3 forwards, more upside, and also you got to argue that the West Ham attack, right, they can do anything against anyone. They've done it against big teams this season already. Antonio could have easily scored in that game, and I just feel like that is a decision I don't regret. Obviously, before the outcome happened, and you just look at the outcome, it's unfortunate he didn't do anything, but I still don't regret that attacking-minded, style of play. King, very frustrating, of course. We have a striker with a double, and I was satisfied. I was satisfied with 1 doubler, so I was like, nah, I've already got Foster as well. I don't need another forward, so I didn't bring in Dennis, and I feel very smug about that because so many people brought him in. I saw some people wildcarding him in. That is a absolute travesty, and most people captaining him. So to not even own him, and obviously captaining King, like lots of people did, the Watford strikers, and that's probably the first and last time that on my FPL career I'll be captaining a Watford player. I mean, maybe I might have done it before where I captained Ismail Assar, but I honestly do not remember it. Since I've been playing from the 2018-19 season, I do not remember being that bold about my own team because realistically, we're not amazing FPL assets, but with our fixtures, it was a no-brainer, and I don't know, King is just frustrating me. He's not been as good as Dennis in the time that Dennis surprisingly stayed and didn't go to AFCON, so frustrating one for sure. Didn't do enough against Norwich. I don't think any Watford player did. And against Burnley, had a few half chances, but really nothing of that much note. Ronaldo, very frustrating. Look, it was just an awful week for everyone. But starting off with Ben Foster, honestly, this guy, bit of a legend, right? Doesn't play the first game. Who knows if he'd have got a clean sheet if Backman hadn't have played. But based on the attitude of the team in front of him, he probably wouldn't have, because that defence was looking so uninterested. Against Burnley, though, very good performance from Foster. Made a few good saves to nice Cornet. And ultimately, it's a building block to kind of push on, hopefully. And Foster, good one to own still at that lovely cheap price of, I think it's 4.1 million, is it? Yeah, 4.1 for the Cycling GK. So, yeah, very, very happy. Not very often that we will get a clean sheet this season. So it's nice that I've started him on the one occasion. Obviously, you want those 2 games, but there's nothing you can do about COVID. is just very unlucky. So I'm glad Foster matched De Gea because it left me not having any regrets. Trent, very, very uncharacteristic, no clean sheet, and also no attacking return. But look, this guy is the best defender in the game, probably from the last 4 seasons. So just keep him. Rudiger, look, this was the one where I was like, I said it on the FPL video actually. So if you didn't follow FPL Juice, do check out on YouTube FPL Juice. They did the titled one of Mason Mount Pellier. That was a Game Week 23 review ahead of the Burnley Watford game, and I was talking through my team there, and I was saying how I was very, very happy that I gave Rudiger one more week because ultimately I was looking to sell him in 23 ahead of a game against Tottenham that wasn't necessarily easy. Kane seems to be back at, you know, how we know Harry Kane can play. Son obviously was injured for that, but you still felt Tottenham would give it a good go with Steven Bergwijn doing fairly decently, and obviously still they have got players with threat. And ultimately, right, maybe he got away with it with the goal that was disallowed. The push on Kane from Thiago Silva, it was a bit soft, and it was just as soft as the goal that didn't get ruled out for the Watford one. So ultimately, you could argue both those goals shouldn't have stood. So not just the Kane one, but that looked like enough of a push like the Pookie one on Samir. But look, I'm not going to get into that too much. Ultimately, though, we did get the clean sheet for Rudiger. That's like the first clean sheet Chelsea have got in about 7 game weeks, I think. It's been such a long wait since that game against Wolves. So yeah, it is a welcome sight for sure, and nice little bonus point as well. It's just Rudiger's been a very loyal servant to this team, and he's been so nailed. He's got a few attacking contributions, but mate, you're on your way out. I don't see benching him because although it's appealing, like I might as well just sell him and not have to sell him in 25 when they also blank. Or do they? No, they're probably back in 25, aren't they? No, they're blank in 25 as well. So yeah, there's no point in benching him just for this week. Just get him out of the team. Cancelo, vice captain. Glad I didn't make it captain because I was feeling confident about Southampton that game against them, a clean sheet. But the first 7 minutes, Walker-Peters with a worldie. The kind of Cancelo goal we would expect, really. So very, very surprising one, that one. But we move. Cancelo's still the man for the plan. Bowen 2-pointer. Look, very, very weird one. But he did have a 2 chances. That one that he just slightly put wide, kind of didn't quite catch it right. And Saka, very frustrating. Against Burnley, you'd have backed him to do something based on his form as well. Saka's been a star boy for me. He's been absolutely brilliant. So he's my conundrum this week for sure. I still don't know what to do with him because he blanks in 24. Blanked in 25. Has a fixture, quite a difficult one actually against Wolves because Wolves have been defensively solid. But then you think, okay, maybe Arsenal, they could do something there because Saka and Martinelli and Lacazette, they're quite a good link up. They did it against Leeds. They did it against, you know, they had that little run of good form. So I'm tempted to keep Saka this week. But then I know that he blanks in 25 and then he also blanks in 27. But in the middle of that, he doubles in 26. So it's like, well, he could be one that I kind of take out on a free hit if I did it in, say, Game Week 27. But also, he is a really good asset that I could just bench when I need to. So put it down in the comments. Ahead of my Game Week 24 preview, tell me what I should do with Bukayo Saka, but certainly not enough involvement in that Burnley game. And then the bench, Douglas Luiz, very, very nice that he didn't do anything because then I don't regret it, but obviously clean sheet point, no one really cares. Digne though, look, it's just like, it's unfortunate, but it's like, I'm happy that I've got the insight to get him in because I knew he was a good pick. Ben Davies, very glad I bench him because I just don't know whether I can trust that Spurs defence. A lot of people saying, oh, well, Spurs assets are now the ones to go for because they don't actually blank in these game weeks. They have a double in 26 and maybe their defence is going to get better. I just don't quite know, right? They didn't keep a clean sheet against Brighton in the FA Cup. And obviously, yeah, look, Emerson looked good in that game. Royale, he's not a bad player, but Reguilon as well. I don't think I'm completely over the lack of consistency for Spurs clean sheets. So Ben Davies maybe is one to go out, but look, it's just a punt that's not really worked. Other than that game against whoever it was. Actually, hang on, let me check. So we brought in Ben Davies for Palace. That really was unlucky because he was playing against Liverpool and Norwich, Brentford, all these games. He got dropped for that. Then we benched him, I'm pretty sure, against Southampton because we thought Southampton would score in there. Then against Watford, we were so unlucky. We were going to play him, and then last minute we decided to bench him. And then Leicester, 1 point, we benched him. Chelsea, 1 point, we benched him. So literally, Ben Davies, whether that's fixture or lack of Tottenham form or just unlucky decision making, we have not got the points from Ben Davies. So it's been a real waste. But maybe with that double in 26, he's one to keep. I just don't know. However, though, I'm very, very frustrated with King. What can you do? It is what it is. So very decent game week. I'm not too disheartened because lots of people had stinkers, right? It's a green arrow, and that's all we want, really. So game week rank 2,000, I should say. No, 2,699,191. So yeah, pretty bad game week rank, but we don't really mind as long as it's a green arrow. And talking of green arrow, it's not just any old green arrow. It is our 9th green arrow of the season. Unbelievable, Jeff. Well, a car crash team of this, other than Rudiger, Jota and Foster, you'd have thought that's going to be a massive red arrow. But that just shows the slim margins in FPL at the minute. Double game week 23, glad to see the back end of you for sure. We moved to blank game week 24 and up to 229k. We're only 129k from our end of season goal. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that, to be honest. Look, it's a decent one, right? 40 points, Rudiger lovely, Jota lovely, and we grow up by a decent tally as well. Not just a green arrow, but rising by 21,614. You love to see it from Backman and Robin. Thanks for watching my FPL review of Game Week 23. We know we want to bet a bit more points, right? That's for sure. But we can do it if we plan strategically and well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.